Thank you very much. Good morning to all. Um, to the co-chairs, Senator Kushner, Rep. Porter, ranking members Aurora and Sampson, and all the distinguished members of labor and public employees. I am Representative Mitch Bolinsky of Newtown, Sandy Hook, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak in very strong support of Senate Bill 423, which is an act improving indoor air quality in public school classrooms. This is incredibly important legislation, and it's a matter that I've been talking about pretty much, well, not pretty much, consistently for the entire 10 years I've been in the legislature. I commend you for raising this proposal. And I want to call to everybody's attention that indoor air quality is among the most longstanding, unaddressed matters of public health in our schools. And it predates the pandemic, although the pandemic certainly put an exclamation point on it. Your willingness to move forward on this priority could be potentially one of the most profoundly good things that comes out of this pandemic. So I want to call everybody's attention to the fact that much of the background work needed to have a working healthy schools program has been researched and published in our state already. And it's all about protecting the long-term health of our school children, but also our teachers and the educational professionals that spend their entire daylight hours 5 days a week in our school buildings. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. We just need to apply the will to have this become a reality, because there's an extensive body of work in indoor air quality, which is abbreviated IAQ, and associated HVAC standards. So past problems were primarily stuck in lack of compliance and standards that were not necessarily abided by. So, but it's very important to keep our children and the adults that work in these buildings healthy in our public school buildings. So back in 2013, when I was a new legislator, I met an individual named Joellen Lawson. She has been an inspiration, and she asked me to host in my first year a National Healthy Schools Day at the Capitol. I learned she was a heck of a lot more than just a constituent. She was really a powerful advocate for healthy school environments. She's a former teacher. She's permanently disabled by what she did for a living and loved most, which was teaching. But building-related illnesses brought on by a contaminated HVAC system in the school in which she worked made her very, very sick. Years and years of neglect of that system, what it did is it brought on mycotoxic producing mold. And with that, it became so pervasive in the building that it was a danger to her and the other adults as well as the children. So years of exposure cost Joellen her career. And it also resulted in an elementary school having to be closed because it was so far gone that it could not be remediated. So the school was abandoned, razed, and had to be reconstructed from the ground up. This is a problem that did not need to happen. So Joellen's testimony is attached to mine because she's not able to physically be here to testify today. So I am presenting her story along with her testimony, and I encourage you to take a look at it. Her testimony is in there. I've also attached copies of the Connecticut Foundation for Environmentally Safe Schools 2012 School Ventilation Position Statement, which is still valid. She's asked me to offer her input in crafting language, discipline, or just the basics of this entire very, very important piece of legislation. Moving around her health issues, she's really a firecracker. She is charged up, and she's got 20 years of experience working with this and advocating. So she first testified in 2002 before the Education and Environment Committees to remedy this. For 20 years, she's fought debilitating illnesses to get to this point. Now, really, it's up to us and to this committee to recognize the problem has existed for far too long. Unfortunately, it took a pandemic to bring it back to our focus and indoor air quality, healthy schools. We need to get on the bandwagon and take this opportunity to do what is right for the public health in general. And as it relates to the labor, and public employees committee, obviously we have adults that are working in these buildings, and there are many stories of folks becoming permanently disabled. So before the window of opportunity closes on this, while COVID is still unfortunately fresh in our minds, for our children, for the teachers, for the workers in our school buildings, we really need to get this done.